Hey everyone, welcome back, Parallel here. Quick heads up, this video contains zero spoilers about the lore of the game. I won't show any footage of late game bosses or major story reveals. Instead, we'll be focusing on what really matters for this review, which are gameplay, art direction, and soundtrack. If you want a spoiler-free take on the title to help you decide if it's worth your time, then stick around and let's dive in. The first point will be game. I'm a sucker for 2D side-scrollers. Mega Man 8 was my favorite game as a child and the first game I've ever played. And the original Hollow Knight was in series without a doubt one of the best in the category, with Silksong managing to improve on every aspect of its predecessor. Compared to the original movement of the Knight, Hornet leans much more into speed, agility, and verticality, which is less about heavy, slow strike and more about constant motion, combos, dodge, and traversal fluidity. Your mistakes would be punished, but the tools Hornet gets as you progress through the game are very powerful. And once you learn how to make them work together, the raw gameplay feels very satisfying. The traversal and the fights themselves were more like a dance, with Hornet being the majestic, lethal ballerina in this beautiful and somewhat eerie environment. The difficulty of the game is definitely something to talk about, but it would be hard for me to relate to beginners since I've been playing this type of games for 25 years now. The learning curve is balanced in my opinion. There was never a boss that took me more than 3 attempts to kill, with some few exceptions, but some of them I've even taken down on the first try. There were a few handful exceptions, but nothing major. Some portions of some maps could have definitely used an additional bench to help less experienced gamers, but honestly looking back, there was never a moment where I felt the game was being unfair to me just to make me suffer. But reading the opinion of people online, this is not the experience that everyone had. Keep in mind, this is my review with my subjective point of view. It was a fair challenge through and through, but again, this might be true only because of my past experiences. They did nerf some of the early bosses in a recent update, but I had already moved past them by the time it dropped, and I personally had no problems with them. But I suppose it was made to balance things out. Without a doubt though, the gameplay itself gets a perfect score by me. Of the 30 available points, it gets all 30. Before we continue, it's time to announce the winner of the first copy I'm giving away, because yes, I decided to give a second copy away after all the support you guys have shown. I picked 5 different users for this in order, so that if somebody doesn't answer to this in time, the next one in line gets the copy instead. The names are the ones you see on the screen right now in order. They have 48 hours to comment under this video, and I'll contact them following the order of the list, and if the first one doesn't comment in time or changes his mind for some reason, I'll give the copy to the following person, and so on. For the second copy, more later. Let's continue with the review now. The second point we'll analyze is, of course, art direction. No matter how many times I'm told, but thinking about the fact that the environments are all hand-drawn makes me drop my jaw every time. As someone who has fun making digital art as a hobby, this is something else, guys. The unique gothic fantasy vibes are extremely recognizable, super consistent with all the different and unique scenarios and environments in the game. The moment you step into a new map, you're instantly welcomed by all the new elements, and the vibe shift is simply incredible. For Loom, the area of the game is alive, and every element has purpose. Every dead end hides a secret door or passage in our minds, and everything is perfectly crystallized in our memory. Once you've gone through an area of the map, you remember it fully. You know where the enemies are, how to avoid them, or also farm their sorry asses if needed. The craziest part of it all is how visuals support the gameplay experience, how the minimal cue indicates when an enemy is about to splatter your organs on the floor, or if there's something hidden away, or if a jump is too far for you to make it. It will leave you speechless every time. Much more to be said about it, but I don't want to get too technical here. Enjoy the experience, because these type of games are once in a gaming generation type of deal. Without a doubt, of the 20 points available that I gave away for art direction in my review, Silksong gets all 20 of them. Soundtrack and audio design will be the third point of the video. And believe me when I say that I wish this was the part of the review where I was able to detract some points and not make this a perfect score again. Part of me was like, nah man, I can't give it a perfect score for everything now, come on. I'll find some flaws, at least in the soundtrack, in the audio design, some departments here and there, but put yourself in my shoes. A grown-ass, 28 years old Italian man. And during the past few moments of last week, when I was not playing the game and living my life like work and that's it, I found myself screaming several times the quotes from Hornet like, "Garama, get the!" And my car rides were accompanied by the soundtrack of the game, and when certain ones came up, I legit wanted to slam myself in a wall at 120 miles an hour, remembering the struggle that the game made me go through. So as I work, I hum the songs that you listen from, certain characters. I don't want to say too much again because I want you to experience it, and that like makes me feel emotions, like dopamine is released in my brain in the moment. So that's absolutely crazy. So the sound the little enemies and encounters make They're also super recognizable. Some enemies give you vibe of like being, you know, that sort of weird dude just by the sound you make. It's just incredible how it all connects. So getting a bit more technical though, the game contains 53 tracks composed by Christopher Larkin, which is already a huge upgrade from the first game. There are 26 in the base game, plus 15 more than added with the free DLC. So this can be a hard point to make in a review, but I'm not a journalist, thank God, so I don't have to be unbiased or objective in analyzing aspects. So I'm just a peer of yours, telling you my personal intimate opinion just in a more articulate way. That's why I can just list two of my favorite tracks of the game and I just tell you that I love them and that's really it. I'm a sucker for strings in general, and this game's soundtracks, for obvious lore and art design reasons that you can think about, like Silksong, you know, tries to use strings in all shape or form in its soundtrack. So I'll give you my top 5 in no particular order, and there are Enter for Loom, Bone Bottom, Repose, Red Maiden, and Cogware Core. There's, you know, 30 more I could list on top of my mind just from this, but you know, I have to stop somewhere. But of the 20 points available for soundtrack and art design I usually give in my reviews, Silksong gets all 20 of them. Before we continue, if you want to get a free copy of the game like one of the 5 lucky guys you mentioned earlier, all you have to do is subscribe to my channel, leave a like to this video, and write a comment under it. I'll randomly pick someone to give a copy to, and I'll announce the winner in an upcoming short on my channel, so don't miss your chance. Now, the quickest part of the review comes up, the story and the character designs. It's the quickest one because I don't want to spoil anyone, so what do you want me to say? I just can tell you that some of the secondary characters and bosses are some of the best inspired ones I've seen in a while. You have to take my word for it at this point and find out for yourself if you don't want to be spoiled, but this is another perfect score by me at 20 out of 20 for the lore, the story, and the character designs. Some of the secondary characters and bosses, you know, and you know, more unique characters I don't want to tell too much about, just live in my mind very strongly, and you know, I love the fan art that's coming out, and it's just incredible. Now, if you sum up all the points I've given out up to now, it's all close to 90 points. That's because in my reviews, I always save 10 points to attribute as, you know, bonus points, as like unique points to find out if a game deserves a perfect score. And these are the most volatile and biased parts of how I personally review a game, of course. So the questions I have to answer are if the game matched my expectations, if I was able to absorb all my attention, if the game was able to absorb all my attention during my first round of it during the week of release, if it made me want to play it again after I was done with it. And these are all the questions that need to be answered for the final 10 points to be delivered. And oh boy, I can guarantee you that Silksong gets a fat yes to all these questions. During the week of release, as I was playing my first round of the game, another very awaited game from me personally, that's why I say these are subjective review. You people probably don't even know this game exists, is Dragon Ball Genshin Squadra, which is a multiplayer game, and I had friends begging me to play it with them, but I gladly said no to them every time to play some more of Silksong. Same also for Digimon Storytime Stranger. Again, just the demo came out and some of you don't care about. If you're a subscriber on my channel, you should. But then again, I couldn't play it, like I just really solidly launched it. I wanted to play it, but I still couldn't during the run of Silksong. I did actually play it by now that I'm doing this review. But yeah, just to tell you how much the game actually absorbed me. So then, expectations were matched and surpassed, and for those who played it, you know why. I don't have to add anything to this. And play again, do I want to play again, brother? I want to learn speedrunning for the first time in my life just to give myself an excuse to play this game once more. Without a doubt, Silksong earns the final 10 points for this for a perfect 100 vote, so basically a 10 out of 10, and hereby becomes my candidate for Game of the Year 2025. I also played Expedition 33 this year when it first launched, when it was still under the radar, let's say, and that's the one game I feel can really compete with Silksong the most, but there are some flaws that I think Expedition 33 had that Silksong doesn't not have for me, okay? Again, my opinion, and that's mostly the post-game of Expedition 33 and just F3 altogether, but again, I don't want to go too much into that because this is not a video about Expedition 33, and also the developers were French, so that's you know, that I don't actually get some points off. That's a joke, of course. So overall, I think Silksong is the game of this generation. I'm not joking, and it is without a doubt a must play. With that said, thank you, stay healthy, and bye-bye.